So we, Schroders Capital, together with Blue Orchard, are currently actively fundraising and investing the Green Earth Impact Fund, where we are looking to generate climate impact in emerging markets with private asset investments. But first, a couple of basic facts and figures in terms of where climate change and climate finance is. Last year, we saw 4.1 trillion of funding gap to meet 2050 climate targets. 95% of global greenhouse gas emissions has come from EM cities that are most affected by air pollution. We saw 1.1 increase in emission globally. But where is the opportunity? Globally, oceans and forests contribute to 1.5 trillion in terms of global GDP last year. Less than 2% of climate finance has gone to countries that are most vulnerable to climate change. And only 11% of climate investments have come from private sectors. So what are we doing to contribute to the planet? We are a fund of fund, which means it allows for multiplied impact. We provide long-term capital to underserved EM managers, focusing on underserved investment themes, climate change mitigation, climate change adaptation, biodiversity, and water economy. We are an active leader in impact field. We collaborate with wider participants in the market, and we also work closely with our managers to build impact capacity pre- and post-investments. So how are we generating impact and how are we measuring this? Across the 4 investment themes, we are seeing different ways of contributing towards the SDGs. And it goes without saying, the KPIs that we measure are different. So I'll just give a concrete example. For example, a fund that we have invested in the ocean and water topic, there's a company that actively collect and process ocean plastic and make them into materials that are sold to branded apparel companies. Obviously, it reduces the pollution in the ocean, but it also contributes to reducing Scope 3 GHG emissions in the customer's value chain. So how are we making this commercially attractive also? Schroders Capital and Blue Orchard are a trusted investor in both primary investments and impact expertise. We provide diversification. We give access to diversified asset classes across private equity, real assets, and private debt, across emerging markets countries, and across the 4 climate themes. We do this by our local presence. That means we can have exclusive access to managers and work directly with our managers on the ground. And the fund itself is very, very much de-risked through innovative blended finance structure backed by the Luxembourgish government. So I hope to engage with some of you and looking forward to to get your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nathalie. Thank you for being super mindful of the time because you leave extra seconds for questions. So, any questions from the audience on this strategy? Yes.
Hello. Thank you very much for this initiative. I think many funds made it beneath you. Yeah. And I was wondering, is your strategy to invest in first loss tranches, or you would go to only senior tranches of funds?
So actually, our fund itself has 2 tranches. So LPs come into first and second tranches, as you called it. But in terms of investing in our underlying investments, we typically look at investment that we may consider funds that have 2 tranches, but most of them actually only will have 1 tranche. So we do not see a lot of blended finance structure. There are, but there are most of them that we really are considering without blended finance structure on the underlying fund level.
And the ticket size that you are in average?
Ticket size ranging between 5 to 50 million. We're raising a 100 million to 200 million fund. Just to give a bit of background as well, we have received funding from the Luxembourgish government, as I mentioned. So that has started us up. We have actively invested into 3 funds now, and we're looking to now raise capital as a senior tranche.
Thank you. Another question? Yes, please.
Hi, thank you for this. You mentioned you're a multi-assets fund of fund. Do you have a predetermined allocation of what you want to invest in equity versus debt versus other? And second, do you have specific countries you focus on, or is it going to be pan-emerging markets?
So from an asset class perspective, we will tilt towards private equity. I mean, we don't have a set percentage, but we do have a target range because it depends on the opportunities. And then infrastructure equity would likely come next, and then debt at the end. In terms of emerging markets, it will be Asia, Africa, LATAM, and we may opportunistically look at Central Europe as well.
Thank you very much, Nathalie. Thank you.